If it's not listed, you can't sell it. That sentence has been running through my head for years now. Every time I think about the items I've sourced that aren't yet listed in my Etsy shop, honestly, that motto has been both helpful and heavy. A lot of the time, it's probably unnecessary pressure I put on myself, but sometimes it's just enough pressure to keep me persevering. Today, though, that motto is laying a little heavier than usual. You see, I'm not typically someone who carries what resellers call a death pile. I usually source and list fairly steadily, so the fact that I currently have an abundance of vintage items already sourced for this year but not yet listed is causing me a bit of angst. Now, I did get my wedding items listed right away, and earlier this week I listed 20 items in one day for my last video, which was a great jump start. But even with that, I need more than 10 days just like that to come close to getting everything listed that's waiting in the wings right now. And that's a lot to carry around in your head. Hi, I'm Carol. I've been selling vintage on Etsy for a little over 3 years now, and my shop is called V Vintage Collectibles. One of my goals for 2026 is to have 400 items listed in my Florida shop by March. And here's the funny thing, I already have enough items sourced to reach that goal. I don't need to buy any more. I just need to get them listed. And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful, truly. I found so many wonderful pieces during our Christmas trip back to Michigan, and I'm really pleased with what I brought home. I just need to get to a place mentally where I'm not constantly anxious. Here's the thing we don't always say out loud. Your stash isn't just inventory. It's decisions you haven't made yet. It's time you meant to have. It's money you hope comes back. And that's why it feels heavier than it looks. Overwhelm grows when everything is mixed together, when there's no clear next step, and especially when sourcing keeps adding to the pile without any kind of release valve. That's when your brain starts looping. And this is something I really believe. A stash with no structure will always feel bigger than it is. So before we talk about speed or discipline, we have to talk about structure. This has been a big shift for me. Instead of organizing my sourced items by where they landed in the house, I've started organizing them by how my shop thinks. So I've grouped things by category, not perfectly, not Pinterest pretty, but intentionally. I tackled the wedding items first, then art glass, butter dishes, and Hadley items in my List 20 in a Day video. Right now, everything else is grouped by type. Figurines, anniversary items, glassware, pottery, wall decor, and so on. A really large category left is metals. I've got silver plate and brass items grouped together on 2 shelves, waiting for my husband to clean and shine them, and I'm not stressing about that. I'll list a few at a time as they're ready. That's the key. This isn't about full organization. This is about pre-batching. 1 shelf per category, 1 bin per shop section, 1 tote equals 1 type of listing session. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. Because when your stash is grouped by category, listing stops feeling like you're starting from scratch every single time. Now let's talk about pacing. This is where I'm borrowing a page straight out of the Dave Ramsey playbook. Instead of tackling the biggest, most overwhelming group first, I'm starting with the smallest. For me, that might be something like 4 vintage hand mirrors. Once those are listed, I get momentum. Then I'll break larger categories into small subgroups so I can keep that feeling going. I saw this all the time when I was teaching. Success leads to success. The more progress students see, the more willing they are to keep going. And adults, we are no different. Consistency doesn't have to mean daily. It means predictable. A small weekly goal that you can finish even on a bad week matters more than an ambitious plan you avoid. And batching supports that pace beautifully. It feels so good to sit down and list when your photos are already taken, edited, and sitting neatly in labeled folders. Same category, same rhythm, faster descriptions. Your listing schedule should fit your life, not the version of you with unlimited energy and time. Because a schedule you dread will not last, but a schedule you trust will. Now, here is where I'm going to gently stretch you because I've had to stretch myself here too. Remember that sourcing trip I mentioned to Ocala in January? Well, I'm still doing that. What I'm not doing is popping into local thrift stores every day like I sometimes do when I don't have a backlog staring me down. For now, I'm limiting that to maybe once every couple of weeks. Here's the pattern most of us fall into. Sourcing feels productive. Listing feels heavy. So the stash grows. The answer isn't to stop sourcing forever. It's to slow it down until the stash is under control. That might look like listing before you source again, one out before one in, or only sourcing for categories you're actively listing. And here's the truth, and I want this to land gently but firmly. Sourcing is not the business. Listing is. Let that sit for a second. You're not fixing your entire stash this week. You're sorting for easier batching. You're choosing a pace that you can finish. You're creating a sourcing pause that protects your progress. Progress isn't empty shelves. Progress is movement. And yes, I'll say it again. If it's not listed, you can't sell it. So let me ask you this. Which part of this feels like it would help you the most right now? Organization, pacing, or sourcing discipline? You don't have to do all three today. Maybe just pick one category and start there. You might not need more inventory, but you do need a system that lets what you already own breathe. And maybe this is the line I'll leave you with today. A calm stash doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you stop outrunning it. Thanks for being here today.